When it comes to creating an unstoppable workforce, delegating is a vital part of empowering. And yet, only 30% of leaders report that they delegate confidently and effectively. So that's 70% in the red zone. And part of the result is what you see on the left, where 70% of leaders just say they're burning out. They got way too much on the plate. They are spending way too much time in the business and not on the business. And that all creates this, this cascading effect, which is creating more and more burnout for leaders. And yet, when you look at the data on the right, leaders who delegate confidently report 63% higher employee engagement and 21% greater profitability. So delegation clearly has a high payoff when done well and a high downside when not done well. And of course, everybody says to delegate, but very few people show exactly how you do that. So that's what we're going to drill into today. Looking big picture wise, when it comes to what I call the phronesis model or practical wisdom. So phronesis is an ancient Greek term for practical wisdom, and it is something that Aristotle embraced. And of course, he was not only a great philosopher, but also the tutor of Alexander the Great. So I figure if it worked well for him and Alexander, it probably worked well for most of us. And in this model, it has three big levers. Well, actually, let me start in the inside. The whole idea behind this framework is to create unshakable business endurance, which means that you are able to thrive, your business thrives in any market condition. And you do that, you create that when you have, when you put together three core outcomes, which is leading with unwavering inspiration, creating an unstoppable workforce, and building unbeatable positioning. So that all creates your unshakable business endurance. And then the how to that are the three levers in blue on the outside. Using disciplined foresight, so you're able to move from fleeting results into durable success. Empowering oversight, so that you move from micromanagement to igniting ingenuity. And then courageous insight. Leaders can go from cautious hesitation into decisive action. And of course, where we're focused today, delegating is all about empowering insight and creating that igniting that ingenuity. And what that allows us to do as leaders, use a different color, what that allows us to do as leaders is spend much more time on the business. All right, hold on a second. My pen flamed out. Much more time on the business rather than in the business. And okay, let's get down into the actual mechanics of this. Sorry, I had to create some more pen juice. Okay, there we go. All right, when it comes to delegation, one of the first questions is, what exactly do I delegate? And one way to look at tasks that I should do versus what I should schedule versus what I should delegate is what's called the Eisenhower Matrix. Dwight Eisenhower used this to manage his workload as a five-star general and as a president. So if it's good enough for Eisenhower, it's probably something that we can pay attention to. And the way the matrix works is on a north-south is important. So something that rises to importance at your level. And on the east-west axis is it's either urgent on the left or not urgent on the right. And what Eisenhower said is if it's on the lower left where it's urgent but not important, so down here, then what you should do with this, you've got three options. So you can either delete it, because it's not important, might be urgent somebody, but if it's really not important, then maybe just delete it. Somebody's got their hair on fire about nothing. You could delay it. Okay, it's something we want to do, but it's really not something I want to do right now, so I delay. Or you delegate. So maybe it doesn't rise to something that you personally need to get involved in, but you want to knock it out. And so this becomes a great task to delegate to one of your subordinates. If you're in the lower right, really the choices are the same. It's not important, it's not urgent, and so you can transfer the 3 Ds over here. You can delete it, you can delay it, or you can delegate. When it comes to the upper left, if it's important and urgent, then you have to do it. If the house is on fire, you must put it out. The upper right is where Eisenhower said you get your greatest payoff. So the upper right is your important but not urgent. Yeah, things like leader development, strategy, all of those things that are working on the business, not in the business. Those are important and not urgent. And Eisenhower says this is where you schedule it. So put it on the calendar. And once you put it on the calendar, you make sure that it's not violated. So you actually carve out time to do those things that are important but not urgent. Okay, so when it comes to delegating, all of this down here is low-hanging fruit. Anything that is not important to you, doesn't rise to your level, is stuff that we ought to consider delegating. A second way to look at it is delegate the stuff that sucks the life out of you. So here's another 2x2 double axis chart. And north-south is I love it versus I hate it. And the east-west is I'm good at it versus I'm not good at it. And so this gives us some different quadrants. So if you hate it and you're not good at it, then this is something you definitely, but it still must be done. This is something you definitely want to delegate. Let me try to write that again. Yeah, this is something you definitely want to delegate. Because chances are this is because it's something you don't enjoy and you're not good at, there's probably somebody on your team in your organization that is. Let them rock it. The lower right is one where a lot of leaders get burnt out because it's something that you hate. It sucks the life out of you, but you're good at it. And so we tend to keep doing it. And we're just paying emotional tax penalties as we do these things. So even if it's something that we're good at, if it sucks the life out of you, delegate it. Delegate or delete or defer. The same way if it's in the upper left, you might love it, but you're not very good at it. Y'all are way too busy as CEOs and presidents, fire chiefs to struggle with stuff. So again, this is a good area. This is a good area to delegate as well. If you love it and you're good at it, then maybe this is one where you stay engaged because it excites you. It fills your cup. So those are the kind of things as leaders to stay engaged in. Other things, take them off the plate. When Michelangelo was asked, how did you create the statue David? Michelangelo replied, I took away everything that was not David. So the delegating, getting stuff off of your plate allows your company's David and your personal David to emerge because you're chipping away at everything that doesn't work. Okay, so those are like what to delegate. And you can use these two double axis charts to just see, all right, what is everything on my plate? Write it down, put it in the different quadrants. And then in the places where it makes sense where it says delegate, then get that stuff off your plate. And it's a great way to multiply your time so that you are still getting stuff done that needs to get done, but you're not doing it. It gives you time to work on the business and not in the business. All right, so what are the actual ways that we can delegate? So there are two basic models for delegating, and it's based on the amount of mutual trust that you have with your delegate. So model one is for, not sure what's going on with Mr. Apple Pencil. So I'm going to juice him up again. So model one is for delegates that may be new, maybe you're training and developing. You just don't have the supreme confidence in them that you can just let them take something and run with it. So this would be more of your hands-on model. And it's 4 basic steps. So step 1 is you're going to issue your guidance. And as you issue guidance, always use the 4 W's. who is responsible. So who's got the baton, who are you delegating to, what you want them to accomplish. So what is their objectives, the why, and I encourage you to use the terms so that. So I want you to do this so that we achieve these results and outcomes. And then by when. So those are the 4 W's. So every time we issue guidance, use the 4 W's, and it will eliminate most of the communication errors then. The second step, and this is what a lot of leaders miss and why a lot of leaders don't feel confident in delegating, is because they're not sure that the other person gets it. And so to make sure the other person gets it, the second step is to use a confirmation brief. And the confirmation brief is something just very simple where you ask your delegate, hey, give me an outline, give me a sketch about how you plan to go about this mission, how you plan to go about accomplishing this task. So what you want them to do is to describe an initial game plan, an initial approach, so that you make sure that you two are on the same page. In the military, we would often use confirmation briefs as, okay, explain back to me what I just told you to do. And it seems a little condescending. So in this approach with the confirmation brief, you just say, hey, give me an outline, give me a sketch about how you plan to go about this. And it'll allow you to make sure that y'all are on the same page. And of course, you'll ask a few open-ended questions along the way. Second is, once they pass the confirmation brief, you're confident that you both are on the same page, ask them, like, come back in 48 hours or so, and let's talk through your game plan. So talk to me in detail about your game plan and what sort of resources, what sort of support and guidance that you believe that you need to succeed. And so they'll talk through that, and then you'll agree on the 4th step, which is how often do we want to check in? So what's the period of check-ins? Some people might really want to check in weekly to make sure they're on the same page. You might want to check in weekly, especially if it's a very new delegate. Others might require less periodic check-ins, but agree to a rhythm of check-ins. And in the check-ins, you always want to assess their progress, what obstacles they're facing, what obstacles you can take down for them or reduce for them so that they can get great results even faster. And that process is going to close the loop on a delegation, allowing you to delegate confidently, even to direct reports who are fairly new or inexperienced. So that's your hands-on model. The eyes-on, hands-off model, I'll go to green here. So this is your eyes-on, hands-off. Is one that you use with more experienced delegates with whom you've got a lot of trust and confidence. At the same time, you don't want them going 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction. And so you're going to start off, first 2 steps are largely the same. You're going to start off with guidance, again with the 4 W's. Your second step is you do a confirmation brief. See how they're thinking about this, what ways you can shorten their path to success, confident you're on the same page. And then the third step is to create the dance floor. So the dance floor are essentially the boundaries of that individual's authority. And the idea is that anything inside the dance floor is theirs. They can make whatever decision they want. If they want to tango, if they want to waltz, if they want to break dance, it's their dance floor. So let them run with it. So some typical boundaries likely to include like money, so the budget, time. There might be some regulatory boundaries, maybe some legal ones, maybe some in terms of number of people. equipment. Got some folks in the manufacturing side here that they can use, or how much of it they're able to do. So that's the dance floor, and anything inside the dance floor is theirs. So you want to be eyes on in this case, but hands off. You also, I strongly encourage you to, let's get that red, set a dotted line. And a dotted line says, hey, if you start to approach one of these boundaries, you need to come talk to me. So I can either get you more resources, get you more support, we can expand the boundaries, or we have to change the objectives, give you more time, etc. Because once you cross the boundary, now it's my problem. So the goal is you stay inside those boundaries. If you approach the edge of it, let me know so we can make whatever adjustments that we need to make sure that you're succeeding. All right, so those are the two delegation models. Model A, more hands-on, as the person builds trust and confidence, and you build trust and confidence in that relationship. Model B, eyes on, hands off, where you are agreeing to a set of boundaries and giving the person full latitude within those boundaries to make decisions. And it's also very important to communicate to the wider organization when you've empowered somebody, particularly on the eyes on, hands off, where, okay, they've got the con on this. And so if there's an issue and it's with this particular task, then you go to the person who owns it. They don't bypass that person, come to you complaining. So they resolve it there first. Okay, that's 20 minutes of content right at you. I'd like to pause here for questions, comments on delegation, what to delegate, and how to do it.